there, I am Haley Cahill-Teubert, and I am a 2015 graduate of Appalachian State University. I was initiated into the Sigma Gamma chapter there at App State and graduated with a communications degree with a concentration in journalism. Right now, I am an organizational growth consultant for Fired Up. So I have the really cool role of getting to travel to work with different Panhellenic sorority chapters all over the country with their recruitment and their retention. And when I'm not doing that, I am also a certified personal trainer and a women's fitness specialist. I am super excited to be part of AOII's Women's Health Week because I am obviously so passionate about fitness. It has absolutely changed my life tremendously for the better. It's made me healthier, happier, and more confident. And it's had just such an incredible impact on my life, and that's something that I want every woman to experience. It is a feeling that I want every woman to feel. And there are a lot of things that I could talk about with respect to health and fitness and my personal journey and how I've been able to have an impact on other women's journeys. But to keep it simple, I want to share 5 strategies that I believe will help you on your path to becoming your most fit self, because they are the same 5 strategies that I lean on and try to employ in my life on a regular basis. So we're gonna call this Fit in 5, okay? Number 1, the first thing we've got to talk about water. So here's the thing. If I haven't had enough water during the day, my body feels terrible. I just feel terrible. My head feels foggy. I've got a headache for sure. I'm tired, I'm irritable, and I just have no energy, which means I don't feel like working out. And if I do happen to get some sort of workout in, it just kind of sucks. It's a terrible workout because I have no energy and my head hurts and I'm tired and so on and so forth. So water's important. It's important before your workout, it's important during your workout, and it's important after the workout. But if we're being honest, drinking enough water can be one of the hardest things. And it's interesting and kind of crazy how it can be the easiest, but also the most challenging thing at the same time. So here's a couple of strategies that I rely on. 1, I like to keep a little sticky note right beside my water bottle. And I like to keep tally marks for how many of these bottles I drink every day. Or if you drink a glass of water, or you have, a tumbler that you use, whatever it is. And there are a lot of different approaches and a lot of different thoughts on how much water we should be drinking on a regular basis. Some people say the gold standard is 8-ounce glasses. I really like, and I think what works best for my body, is to take half of your body weight, and then it's that in ounces. So just to make this simple, if you weigh 150 pounds, half of 150 is 75. So 75 ounces of water, okay? If you weigh 50 pounds, that would be 25 ounces of water, right? So whatever you weigh, cut that in half, and then whatever that number is, just add an ounce beside it, and that's how much water. So the water bottle that I typically use is like a 24-ounce shaker bottle. And so I just keep track of however many of these I need to drink during the day. And I like having that in front of me because it's a helpful visual. I don't have to backtrack and think, is this my second one of these? Or is this number 3? I just have it right in front of me. Second strategy with water. And this one might seem kind of trivial, might seem elementary, I don't know, might seem silly, but I get in the habit because when I'm not traveling to different campuses, I work from home. And so I have this habit where I wake up in the morning and I make a beeline for the coffee maker. Maybe some of you do the same thing. And I've learned that when I start my day with coffee, it could be lunchtime, it could be 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon before I've had not even a whole bottle of water, before I've had a glass of water. And you better believe that I feel that. My body feels that, my head feels that. because it's easy to just nurse a mug of coffee all day long and to keep replenishing it. So what I like to do is, instead of making a beeline for that coffee maker, I'll fill up a mug of water, the same mug I will use for my coffee. And while my coffee is brewing, I'll drink an entire mug of water. And if the coffee is still brewing, I'll go ahead and drink a second. That way I am fully hydrated before I even have that first cup of coffee. And I try to do the same thing with meals. So while I'm heating up lunch or while I'm working on cooking dinner, I try to drink at least a 16-ounce glass of water. Sometimes I'm able to drink a whole bottle, so that I am fully hydrated before I eat the meal, and it just keeps my water levels up throughout the day, okay? Third thing, make it fun. Make it fun. You know, this water bottle, I keep pulling this water bottle out, but I can't say that this is the most fun water bottle in the world, but it works for me. However, if it's helpful for you to buy yourself a really cool, fun water bottle that has like a really funny quote, or I love the water bottles that have kind of like the goals for you throughout the day. Maybe it says, you know, like drink this much by 10 a.m., this much by lunchtime. Whatever works for you, I say go for it. If you need to enhance your water with natural things like fruit slices or mint sprigs, do it. If it's helpful for you and helps you get your water intake in, I say go for it, because again, it seems like it's one of the easiest things that we can do for our health, but a lot of times it's the hardest. Okay, second, so number 2 of 5 things that I want to share. The second thing that really impacts my workouts, that has a really big impact on my overall fitness, is nutrition. Now, if you know me personally, you know that I love to eat. I love to eat. Now, I do really love healthy foods. I am one who always appreciates a kale salad. I like a good smoothie, right? But I love pizza. I love donuts. I love pasta. I could write love letters about pasta. Chocolate, like you name it, I'll eat it. And I am not ever going to give those things up, ever in 100,000,000 years. One time I was at a baseball park, and someone said to me, wait a minute, aren't you a personal trainer? Because I was eating like this huge plate of nachos. And they were kind of questioning my food choice, as if I'm supposed to eat like celery all the time or something. And I said, yeah, I'm eating this. It's all about balance. And we shouldn't feel guilty about our food choices. Do I eat the nachos for every meal of every day? No. And that's why I don't feel bad about them when I do have them. It's all about balance. So I would never encourage anyone to give up the foods you love, because it's not practical, it's not sustainable, and honestly, I'm a believer that food is meant to be enjoyed. Yes, it's meant to nourish your body, but I also think it's meant to be enjoyed. So we've got to find balance. Now, because when I have several days in a row when I've not eaten great food, you know, like if I'm on vacation or if I'm traveling a lot for work, if I have several days where I'm eating a lot of fast food or just a lot of really heavy food, I start to feel that. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. I get sluggish, I don't have a ton of energy, I really don't feel like moving from the couch. I'm kind of pessimistic a lot of times. And in the rare event I do muster up some energy to get a workout in, it's not a good workout. I feel heavy. When I move, I feel like I've got like 5 grown men on my back that I'm carrying. I just feel weighed down. I know the food that I eat impacts my body in a variety of ways. It gives me the energy I need to absolutely crush a workout. And it gives me everything I need to help recover from a really good workout, which is important. So we've got to find that balance. That's the buzzword, right? But balance is important. Now, there's a lot of approaches to balanced eating and how that impacts our fitness, and we can honestly talk about that for hours and hours and hours. But I just want to share one simple question that you can keep in your back pocket It's one question you can ask yourself that I find helpful in finding balance in as many nutrition choices as possible. And the question is, how can I add color to this meal? What color can I add to this? This is a question that I ask myself because most of the really nutrient-dense foods that are really good for our bodies are colorful, right? I mean, think fruits and vegetables, super colorful. So the question is basically, how can I add nutritious produce to this meal? So if I'm having pizza for dinner, how can I add color to this? I love arugula, so maybe that means I put some arugula on top of the pizza or some colorful bell peppers. Or maybe I have just a small salad with the pizza and not feel bad about the pizza. Or I live in the South. If I'm going to a family gathering where a lot of Southern food is served, which is delicious, but not always the healthiest or the most colorful, things like macaroni and cheese and mashed potatoes and rolls and cornbread, delicious stuff, but again, not much color. How can I add color to this? Maybe that means that I be the one who volunteers to bring some really delicious roasted vegetables, because vegetables aren't bad. Sometimes we don't cook them in a great way, but if you have a great recipe that you love, take the colorful vegetables. Or maybe you can take a really simple, light, fresh fruit salad. Bring some color to the table. Those colorful fruits and vegetables are packed, absolutely packed with the nutrients that your body needs to feel full and energized so that you can crush a workout and so that you can recover from a workout. Nutrition has a huge impact on our fitness, and it is so important for us even getting to the workout and having the energy we need to do the workout and then to allow our body to recover from that. Okay, number 3 of 5 here. Sleep. Again, that's easy, Haley, right? But sometimes one of the most difficult ones. Now we know that sleep is important for us to be our most fit selves, because if we're tired, we often reach for more of the sugar-heavy, more of the carb-heavy foods because lack of sleep impacts our appetite. And we're not always reaching for carrot sticks and kale salads when we're hungry. We're reaching for the sugary foods because that's what we crave. And too much of that, as we've just talked about, impacts, at least for me, my desire to then go get a workout in, right? It's this kind of vicious cycle. And, obviously if I'm tired, I'm not motivated to work out. Like it all plays in together. It impacts the diet, which impacts our energy. It all works together. So we've got to get more sleep, right? A couple of things that I try to do every single night to improve my quality of sleep. 1, I'm a believer in essential oils at bedtime. I love lavender at bedtime. I think it helps me fall asleep, stay asleep, and just relax me. So that's a go-to for me. 2, a sound machine. There's a ton of research that supports that white noise helps people fall asleep and stay asleep. So I don't have a sound machine, but I do have an app that I love and use every night. The app is just called White Noise, and I use that to just play softly in the background, and it really does help me fall asleep and stay asleep. The third point here with sleep, technology. We know, and we've all read it and heard it a million times, that the blue light from technology impacts our sleep. It stimulates our brain, and it just makes it hard for us to really fall asleep and get the quality of sleep that we need. So I try to make it a habit to put the cell phone, put the laptop, TV away at least 30 minutes before I want to go to bed. So I used to be in the habit of scrolling Instagram until I was thinking, okay, it's time to cut off the light and go to sleep, and that impacted my sleep. So I try to put that away. And equally important, turning off notifications. Nothing will ruin a good night of sleep more than a ping of your email, and it's a message from a professor or a coworker with feedback from an assignment. All that will do is keep you up all night long, thinking about your response to that email or what you need to do the next day, and you're all worked up, maybe you're angry, maybe you are stressed about the next day, and the next day hasn't even started yet. So put the electronics away, turn off the notifications. I would even say turn off the notifications at the end of the day. If you're done with homework, if you're done with classes by 8 p.m., turn off the email notifications. If you leave your work office at 6 p.m., turn off the work notifications. Let yourself truly relax and re-energize so that you can show up to work or to class the next day ready to work, ready to be productive. The next point with this, understand how caffeine impacts your body. I am a coffee addict. I love it. I could drink it all day long. Unfortunately, I have learned that though I thought I was immune to it, it impacts me at nighttime. If I drink caffeine past about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I toss and turn the next night. I might not be wide awake all night long, but I don't have restful sleep. So the 3 p.m. caffeine that I often feel like I need, I've had to, realize, I'm probably just a little bit dehydrated. Let me turn to some water, or let me just get a nutritious snack, because the caffeine impacts my sleep. And we know it's just a vicious cycle from there, right? And the final thing here, become a creature of habit when it comes to your sleep. I try to be fairly disciplined with when I go to sleep and when I wake up. So much so that my body is in a rhythm that most of the time I wake up at the same time as my alarm goes off. I might wake up like 2 or 3 minutes before the alarm clock goes off because my body is in that routine. That can be challenging in times of quarantine when our schedules are crazy, or when our class schedule changes every day, or we're off for the summer. But truly, to become our most fit selves, I think we have to improve our quality of sleep, which means sticking to a routine. So if that means you go to bed at 11 every night and get up at 7 every morning, that's what you do. Or if you go to bed at 10 and get up at 6, whatever works for you, stick to it. All right, point 4 of 5. This is a good transition. We're going to talk about consistency. We talked about consistency and routine for bedtime. I think it's equally important to have consistency in your routine with with exercise, because when we're consistent with something, it just becomes a normal part of our daily life or our weekly life. When we're consistent with something, we do it without really thinking about it. It just becomes habitual. I think it's the reason why, it's easy to just put on a seatbelt in the car without thinking about it, or washing your hands after you use the restroom. These things just become habit. And I think that we can approach exercise in the same way. Be consistent with how you schedule your workouts. If you like to exercise daily, that's great. Maybe that means you work out at 9 o'clock every single morning, because maybe that's what works for your schedule. Or if you exercise 3 times a week, maybe it's a 6 p.m. group class at your local gym that you take on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and that's your routine, and you stay consistent with it. Or maybe you kind of have a mix, but there's still some consistency with it. So maybe you run every Saturday morning, and you take a bar class every Monday night, and you do, a spin class, or you weight lift on Thursdays. Great, but that's consistent. You can rely on that, so it becomes habitual, it becomes part of your routine, and you stick with it. It will be so much easier to stick to your fitness goals if that consistency is there, if the routine is there, and it just becomes a normal part of your life. Number 5 here, our 5th thing, goals. Goals keep us going. I mentioned at the beginning that I keep a little sticky note to help me stay on track with my water consumption. That's a goal. It's a visual for me of how far I've come, how far I have to go. It helps me reach those goals. Goals keep us going. So maybe you want to run more. So perhaps the goal is to sign up for a 5K or a 10K or a marathon, whatever your goal is. Signing up for something can give you something to work towards so that you stay on track. Or maybe you want to have something to look forward to. For me, I am highly motivated by new workout clothes. And that's kind of twofold. If I'm having a particularly tough week, I might say, you know what, if I stick to all my workouts this week and I crush my goals and I accomplish everything I want to, I'm gonna treat myself to a new pair of leggings or that workout top that I've been eyeing. And for me, some new workout clothes makes me feel really good, which makes me want to exercise. So if I know I have a new pair of tennis shoes in the closet, I'm much more apt to go for a run because I'm excited to use them. Or maybe that's, that I have a new pair of headphones. It doesn't always have to be a material object, but for me, that's motivational. Find what is motivational for you and what's practical for your budget, your lifestyle, all of those things. Just find what's motivational for you and give yourself a little treat at the end of the week or if you reach your goals. Whatever your goals are though, whatever you are working towards, I do want to make sure that I pause here and encourage you and remind you that your goals should be positive. Your goals should not reinforce negative behaviors or negative opinions about yourself. Your goals should be positive. They should be healthy. And they should be realistic. I think the best goals are the ones that you start doing rather than the ones that you stop doing. So when you start something, that's a positive reinforcing goal, whereas if your only goals are to stop something, that sometimes can be a negative goal. So if your goal is I'm going to stop eating junk food this week, sometimes those negative goals aren't so easily attainable. Whereas maybe the positive goal is I'm going to start eating 2 more servings of vegetables each day. It's a positive goal and we tend to achieve those more easily. So again, make sure they're positive, that they're healthy, and they're realistic. So those are my 5 tips. My 5 tips for feeling and becoming your most fit self. All of these things work together. All of these things show up in how I feel about my body, my energy level, how I show up in my workout. All of these things work together. I always love to hear from new friends, so I want to encourage you to reach out to me if you have questions, if you need support. Let me know what works for you of the things that we talked about tonight, if there are things we talked about, and you have opinions or you have questions or things I didn't mention that you want to share. I love to hear. So let me know what was most helpful. Let me know how I can support you in meeting your goals, and I hope that you have so enjoyed Women's Health Week. And I've so enjoyed being here with you. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Bye.